Hey everybody, another Bromwell match, this time on Lakeville. Different platoon structure this time. We've got a Fury and a T-34-85 along as well. Some pretty strong medium tanks. The Fury is very similar to the EZ-8, and the T-34-85 is probably one of the best Tier 6 mediums, and probably one of the best Tier 6s, period. So right from the start of the match, I decide I will run down the middle of the map rather than heading into town, although I am top tier. I'd rather put the optics that my Bromwell is carrying at its excellent view range to use here than try and run into a brawl in town and inevitably get shot from the enemy position in the middle of the map. The corresponding position for the enemy, I should say. So I run up, hug up to a rock, and start looking for targets. As you can see from the minimap, I can spot pretty much the entire lower approach to the town, and here's our first customer. Unfortunately, the Bromwell has two things going against it gun-wise. Horrible bloom issues and horrible aim time. The base accuracy is nothing hot, but the bloom and the aim time are what really do it in, and as you saw, my first shot just completely left this mortal realm and ended up hitting the windmill, I think, which I was not even aiming close to. I do get a shot into the VK there, but he pulls into cover for a while. Now, I am astonished I haven't been focus fired by the entire enemy team at this point, because if you do this shit in high tiers and fire from this position, the moment you're lit, even if you've not fired your gun yet, you're pretty much fucked. Within, 2-3 seconds, you've been hit 4 to 5 times at least. But here I am, steadily dumping shots onto tanks in town, and I'm not being shot back at. What's going on? The AT-7 is an easy target to pick on because it's so slow and oblivious, but the M4 is a much more appealing target because it has absolutely no armor, as far as my gun is concerned anyway. He also seems averse to actually taking cover. Things are going pretty well for my team in town on account of the enemy tanks on the way into town losing a lot of their hit points already. The AT-8's in cover, I'm not likely to hit him there, so I push up the middle and, oh god, it's a bathtub. I'm not sure what this guy was doing in the opening minute or so of the match, because he could have been putting out some really high damage.
Enemy armor is damaged.
I unfortunately whiffed my shot, but Serb comes to the rescue and clears a path by shoving the bathtub's wreck out of the way. At this point, the way is clear. All the enemy tanks... Well, sorry, not Serb. I'm illiterate. That's too fast, too furious. Serb is in town in the Fury. But anyway, the enemy force in town has been completely defeated because really they were just milling around doing nothing useful. And the enemy heavy went valley, of course, and did absolutely nothing. This team is a keeper, says our Jumbo. Well, not so much this team is a keeper as the enemy team being a keeper to fight against. The enemy team, as with the last match in the Bromwell, just did absolutely nothing. They let us take control of the map, they let us shoot from strong positions without being fired back at, they didn't spot anything. What they did spot, they didn't exploit that by shooting it. I mean, the worst of their bads came to the valley to just die doing nothing, and the rest of them went into town and let themselves be shot in the sides constantly by me and the other tanks that were working off of my spotting damage. And so once again we end up with a complete steamroll. In fact, we only lost one tank, and it was a Tier 5 TD. A steamroll because the enemy team just didn't even try. I mean, they really didn't put up any resistance at all, and this is the kind of thing that made Hellsword rage quit West and never want to play it again, because it's just... there are two kinds of game you have on West. The first one is the one where your team are the puppies, and it's just hair-pulling. It's awful. The other kind of game is when this happens, and the enemy team are the puppies, and you just run roughshod over them. And I mean, if you're lucky, you're in a fast tank with a fast-firing gun, so you're the one that's doing all the damage and getting all the spotting. But if you're really unlucky, you're in a slow TD or a slow heavy, or heaven forbid artillery, and so you're going to get absolutely nothing done, because by the time you get your gun loaded and get into a position where you can use it, the enemy team are already dead. And that's what was driving Hellsaw mad on West, is because he wanted to get damage in to get marks of excellence on his tank, but he just couldn't do it because he couldn't get there in time. By the time he was in position to do anything, the entire enemy team was just gone. Much like this match. I mean, it's unreal just how quickly a team on West will fold in half. So I guess this just demonstrates the dire effects of huffing glue, like I can only assume most players on NA West do on a regular basis, because this shit is unreal. I mean, I've seen some pretty odd strategies, some pretty odd things happen in this game over the past 5 or so years, but West just takes the cake for consistent stupidity. Even the test server, people play more seriously and more intelligently than this. And, you know, the test server, they don't have to worry about credits or stats or anything like that. They just suicide into each other for fun. But even that has more logic to it and is more carefully thought through than some of the shit I see the people on West pull. The Westies are just unreal. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and watching yet another hopelessly bad enemy team get rolled over by the Bromwell. Again, I'm going to spruik this thing some more. It is a fantastic tank, so if you ever get the chance, snap it right up. Anyway, I wish you the best of luck in the field, and as ever, I will see you on the next video.